The United States has entered the second week of a nationwide government shutdown, the first of the Trump administration's new term and one of the most politically charged in recent memory. The shutdown began at midnight on October 1, 2025, after lawmakers in Congress failed to reach an agreement on a short-term spending bill to fund the federal government. Both parties are blaming each other as millions of Americans begin to feel the economic and social impact of the impasse. The cause of the deadlock. The core dispute centers on budget priorities and executive power. President Donald Trump has demanded that any funding bill include provisions for new border security spending, expanded energy projects, and deep cuts to several federal programs, including climate research and some social services. Democratic lawmakers have refused, arguing that the president's proposal would disproportionately harm low-income Americans, weaken environmental protections, and grant too much discretionary authority to the executive branch. Multiple attempts in both the House and Senate to pass a continuing resolution have failed, with moderate lawmakers warning that both sides are playing political chicken at the expense of public workers. Impact on Americans. The shutdown has forced the closure or reduction of services across several key agencies. Federal employees. Over 800,000 federal workers have been furloughed or are working without pay. Military pay. Active duty service members are expected to miss their first paychecks starting October 15th, unless a separate funding measure is passed. Social programs. Benefits such as the Women, Infants, and Children (WIC) program could run out of funds within days, and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program (SNAP) is at risk of interruption by mid-October. National parks and courts. National parks have begun closing to visitors, while some federal courts could shut their doors by October 17th if the stalemate continues. Economists warn that if the shutdown drags on beyond 3 weeks, it could slow overall GDP growth and further shake global confidence in U.S. political stability. The political fallout. The political blame game has intensified. President Trump has accused Democrats of holding the American people hostage for ideology, and has hinted at using executive authority to reassign agency funds. Democratic leaders counter that the president is manufacturing chaos to justify controversial spending priorities. Public approval ratings for both Congress and the White House have fallen sharply since the shutdown began, according to several polls. Behind the scenes, some moderate Republicans are reportedly discussing a temporary bipartisan funding deal that would keep the government open while negotiations continue. The road ahead. As the nation heads toward the mid-October deadlines for federal paychecks and court operations, the pressure on lawmakers to find a solution is mounting. Business leaders, labor unions, and civil groups have all urged both sides to compromise. However, with neither party showing signs of retreat, analysts warn the standoff could become one of the longest shutdowns in U.S. history, and a defining political test for the current administration. Conclusion. The 2025 shutdown has underscored not only the deep partisan divide in Washington, but also the fragility of America's governance when political brinkmanship takes precedence over compromise. For now, the country watches and waits, as the lights in many federal offices remain off, and uncertainty becomes the new normal in the world's largest democracy.